The winner with the most drachma, which is the Greek currency, wins the crown. So basically all the events are for drachma, and the person with the most drachma buys the crown.
Oh, yeah. So St. Cloud proceeds to use his personal ninja to cheat and win all of the contests.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of already like PY, and this episode just made me kind of like him more. He seems fun.
Yeah.
I like that there's a package, because I think that he's bringing more to the table than just, like, I'm the sidekick.
There's some dimension there. Parkour, PY!
Parkour!
Parkour!
Do you know what parkour is?
It's the fancy acrobatic jumping.
Yeah.
Magic.
It's essentially magic.
Yeah. Jumping off walls and stuff.
So as we mentioned, there's the pumice carving contest.
Right.
There's also the sponge collecting contest. It's very practical, given Spanikopita's, Spanikos' natural resources.
Yeah. Then the bottom falls out of the episode.
Yeah, just you're watching and all of a sudden you're like, what's happening?
Billy starts dreaming, and all of a sudden, shit gets weird.
Really, really weird.
Jonas ventures Zeus on Mount Olympus.
Yeah.
With the rest of the original team venture.
Mm-hmm.
And he says to release the Kraken because Rusty isn't studying.
I won't even comment.
Yeah.
How does Billy... Never mind.
I think that Jackson just wanted to say, release the Kraken! At some point.
So the Kraken turns out to be like a live-action puppet thing of St. Cloud with an extra set of arms. By far, like, one of my favorite things is him going, rawr, like half-hearted rawr.
Yeah. So Stupid Buddy Studios did the stop-motion animation for this episode. They are the animation studio that does a lot of work for Robot Chicken.
Mm-hmm.
And my new favorite thing, the dinosaur office.
I know, it's awesome. If you guys haven't seen this, it is an office filled with... It's like Dilbert, but with dinosaurs. Okay, so Billy is dressed as Perseus from the original Clash of the Titans. Mm-hmm. White is like a centaur Pegasus, and he's kind of pulling it off.
Yeah.
It's that weird.
And
he's got like the super cool Venture Industries bag, which I feel like I've seen a couple times in the show, and I really, really want one.
Yeah. I also love that one of the main things that White says to Billy in this dream is, by the way, I part my hair on the other side.
Yeah, and this duo is kind of like a staple of hallucinations on this show. And dream sequences. Like, this is not the first time that they've shown up, like, as something else, you know. So Dr. Venture's head is actually in the Venture Industries bag. And then they, like, pull it out, and it's Dr. V, and he's, like, all claymation-y, or whatever that's called, and, like, it's, like, a Medusa head with a bunch of little rusty heads as snakes. What does that mean? Anyway, while you're thinking about that, Billy shows the head to, like, St. Kraken, which should turn him into stone, presumably, but the Kraken pulls out a drachma coin out of the X2, and it reflects Rusty/Medusa's glare, and Rusty turns to stone. What does that mean?
Billy
Go.
has a effed up dream life.
That's all. I really don't know. So then Pete Pegasus flees the situation as he would, and starts melting like Icarus, which made us think of Brock's Icarus tattoo.
Yeah.
I mean, how could it not? And but does that mean, I guess, since he switches myths almost, that he's kind of hubrisy?
Kind of.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Duh. So while St. Cloud is getting his 300 style abs spray painted onto his stomach, everyone gets sneaky.
Real sneaky.
Real sneaky. Hatred sneaks out to investigate Yorgos. And Billy and White sneak to the X2 to steal his power, which is...
Magic wigs.
Close enough.
Magic wigs.
Money.
That was so great.
Yeah.
White had a few great moments in this episode. One of them was him going, ew, when Billy says irregardless, because it's grammatically incorrect.
It's actually regardless, yeah.
So it just made my soft spot for
Yeah,
White.
that was so cute. So the X2 has been turned into this museum of memorabilia. There's some... Nerdmabilia.
Nerdbilia.
Yeah. There's E.T., there's Raiders of the Lost Ark stuff. Like, there's all sorts of stuff on this boat that he just, like, collects it and has it. And in fact, Billy makes a comment like, this kind of stuff should be seen by the public. Why is he just like hoarding this cool shit?
And PY leaps in to stop them, and Billy actually like immediately attacks him. You know, he's very brave. And again, they're not actually total failures. I mean, they actually subdue PY, which is kind of impressive considering he's a ninja. And then, but they get darted.
So they wake up. They're tied down in like a giant pit,
like usual.
Yeah, and the sun is creeping on in.
It's very much like, well, really like any vampire anything, but it reminds me of Interview with the Vampire when Claudia is in the pit with her new mother, and the sun creeps in and ends up killing them. So what it reminded me of was the Chronicles of Riddick. But PY ends up saving them because of the albino code. Albino code, which is so cute that that's a thing. I want to learn more about this. I feel like you would, for pigmently challenged people. It actually bordered on real villainy by St. Cloud. Oh, yeah, because, well, would do nothing to Billy, but he'd be there when White catches a flame. Yeah, as his hair did. I laughed so hard when that happened. It was really funny. Like how much drama they gave that situation. And then when you see White again, he looks like how I look like at the beach, just like a crumpled mess. He's wearing socks on his hands, and he's got like Billy's whole shirt over his head, and only like it fits his head. Like his head is the same size as Billy. Meanwhile, apparently, Hatred is retracing Brock's footsteps, and he stumbles into this room and screams out, "Crumb bums," coined by Hank. Which is so great. Yeah, and he finds Yorgos counting money and looking super suspicious. And he's like, I knew something was going on here. Yeah, but everything is not as it seems. The guns that you see them kind of smuggling in earlier are just like video game guns. Yeah. And a P.S. There's like a bunch of pictures of Rusty on the wall. And he has one framed that he shows him. There's several. Like I think the whole section is Rusty themed. Also, there's a weird, unexplained Vincent Van Gogh clock on the wall. Just, if you're rewatching it, look out for that. It turns out they held Rusty for ransom after they ransacked the old X2. Yeah. But things didn't go exactly as they planned. No. Rusty just cried for 3 days, and then eventually when his dad didn't show up, they decided to create, obviously, Spanikopita to make him feel better. Yeah. So somehow Dr. Venture was caught up in another adventure when he's not there to rescue Rusty. Yeah, and it's quite an adventure. This is the breakdown. We see him fighting like a nautical themed robot that has the spirit of L. Ron Hubbard in it, who is the founder of Scientology, who kidnaps Jackie O, who's like in the exact replica of her wedding dress. Right. But his ghost was in the robot. Right. Which is confusing because he died in 1986. Right. Right. I'm confused. Yeah. So I don't really understand why he's a robot, although there is a robot in the DC Comics universe called Elron, who's named after Hubbard. Right. Who kind of looks like the robot in this scene. It's he's kind of gold and he's kind of humanoid and he has like the same segments. But that's very obscure and I might just be stretching there. So he looks at the robot and it says Apollo 7 right here on it, and he realizes that the actual target is the Apollo 7 rocket, which was supposed to be taking off that day or landing? It was supposed to be splashing down. Splashing down, right. So it turns out, again, in real life, 2 days after the Jackie O wedding, Apollo 7, which was the first manned U.S. spaceflight, did splash down. 3 members of the crew of Apollo 1 had died in a fire previously, in the previous year, during a launch pad test. Apollo 7 launched from what was known as Cape Kennedy Air Force Station at the time, and it was an 11-day Earth orbital mission. Yeah, and if you remember Colonel Gentleman is screaming, like, Wally's on that mission! Wally, or Walter Schirra, was part of the crew for both missions, and him and the crew of Apollo 7 did survive, I guess, in thanks to T-Venture. So Jonas finally shows up to save Rusty,
and kicks the crap out of Yorgos and his crew for kidnapping him.
I know.
Which is kind of a cute fatherly moment.
Well, is it, or is it more just like, this is mine and how dare you?
Yeah, I think it's more of like a possessive thing.
Yeah.
But it's a side of Jonas, like a personal side that we haven't really seen a lot of before. We're used to that super aloof science dad personality of his. So this is more of like a vindictive James Bond personality.
Yeah. You actually see him kind of being cruel, and otherwise it was like he just didn't care.
Because like he didn't even care that they created this whole celebration for his son to keep him happy, and like I don't even think they were ransoming him anymore at that point. They were just like, all right, here's your kid.
Yeah. And obviously Rusty was, happy to be there. But that's how Georgios lost his eye. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, that's not really fair. But Georgios said he would make the Venturoos pay. Yeah. Which turns out is, like, soup's literal.
Money.
But those shiny, shiny shirts do not buy themselves.
No, they really don't. So Rusty showed up 20 years later. Looks like college Rusty?
Yeah.
Maybe after his dad died?
Yeah. That might
he, needed some...
Exactly, like the catalyst.
So, a couple final things. Yeah. This week, Kimson, Slim Jim, Fizz, Albert was back. We were so excited to see that he is not gone forever.
Or dead.
We were worried.
Those are the only two options.
Yeah.
Not like you took a vacation or something.
Also, did you notice that the titmouse bird says chirp in a different voice every week?
I, caught that it's like chirp, but I think it was Hank for a while, but it's been like Hank and then Gary, and then this week it was St. Cloud. Mm-hmm. So another just like fun thing at the end of the episode.
Yeah. Shirt club this week. Spanikopita!
Probably the most obscure shirt so far, because it's just like little pieces of the pie.
Yeah.
And that's it, in like a Greek style.
Stay tuned for this week's episode, Sunday at midnight. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye. How do you say it? Bubbo?
Boop, boop, bo, boobo.
Boobo?
Boop, boop, bubbo. Boobo? Bubbo?